Yeah, and welcome to another video. I'm Brett Papa, and if you can't tell, I can't even talk. I'm so freaking excited. You all know me here. I'm the biggest Van Halen fan ever. Favorite band, first album I ever bought was Van Halen 1. Like, talk about blowing your mind open as a 7-year-old. Wow. So that there's a lot of love happening here. Huge shout out to Sweetwater. They donated this amazing, this is hands down my favorite guitar I own right now. It sounds and plays so freaking good. And every one of my friends that I've talked to that's played one of these, higher end Frankensteins, they're all good, right? Even the lower model ones are still freaking killer, but these higher end ones are insane. Everyone's like, yeah, I know, I need to buy one of those. Seriously. There's a link below if you're interested in Van Halen and having a wicked guitar. These, home run, just out of the park. But anyways, so there's that. And if you want to get better at guitar, understand the fretboard, both in rhythm and in lead playing, and really have a simple street-wide guide to like how to play guitar better, quicker, faster, simpler, with not a lot of theory involved, hardly any. I mean, I know like this much theory, so I'm not gonna throw anything I don't know at you. Click the link down below for brettpapa.com and the membership. It includes every single thing I've ever done, or just go to brettpapa.com. There's tons of courses there designed to get you better fast. Okay, so with all that out of the way, the tone is going into a 74 50 watt JMP Marshall. Sounds like this by itself. Then I go into a Boss 10 band or 7 band or something band EQ. And then another pedal that's also on my Sweetwater page is the Archer, but the Jeff pedal version of it. And then I'm gonna put a little sunset reverb and a little delay and post. All that stuff's on my Sweetwater page, and that's how I'm getting this. So anyways, you gotta tune to E flat. All the killer old Van Halen stuff was in E flat, and also he used 9s. So it really helps, especially when trying to do his style, to use a light gauge string, because he's so good at vibrato, and all that stuff is so good and so greasy that playing a thick, heavy set of strings is gonna be real tough to get that same kind of vibe going. So he tuned down with 9s. So just imagine how easy that is, right? Okay, so that's what your low E is gonna sound like. Okay, the rest is up to you. Okay, so the rhythm is super basic. There's only 2 patterns, 2 different parts, and that's basically it. I mean, at the very end of the song, it's a little bit different, but whatever. So the intro is just a G chord, and you don't have to hit all of the strings. That's one of the things you're really gonna notice with Eddie's playing, is he never really hits full, huge chords. It's like 2 strings, 3 strings tops. Sometimes it's a weird chord, but not a lot of strings going on, and it's really how he gets those like, what chord is that kind of vibe going on, right? So G chord, and I'm just hitting down to the B string. And I mute out the A string with my finger. Now in live performances, he does one of the, you know? And then same kind of vibe with the C chord where you mute out the D and you really just have the C note, the open G, and this D note, right? And then the D chord is just the D string, the G string, and the B string. So you go. Now the next time around, same 2 first chord, but the D is a bar chord with an A in the bass, so that D power chord, but stick an A in the bass, so it's 5, 5, 7. And then to a power chord, an E power chord. That's where he does the dive. Okay, I think it does that 3 times. And on the last one, and you hear that ch, 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 right? And then it goes into the actual verse part. Now there's 2 different things happening here. Again, I use the isolated track and I slowed it down, and it allows me to hear like all this nuance that I thought I was doing right, but there's 2 different things going on here that I didn't hear before. I always just thought it was one way to do it. 2 different things going on here, and let me explain. I think I use any tune. I think that's what it's called, that slow stuff down. Isolated tracks are killer because there's no vocals or drums or anything to make it sound like, I mean, it's just straight guitar. You can slow it down to like 30% and it still sounds like you can still really pick out the notes, right? It's killer, gotta check that out. We're coming in on the C note on the A string. And you pull it down a little bit, a little tug. Now there's 2 things happening. Sometimes there's a muted C note and then back to an open A, so it's, okay? Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it's just a muted note. Okay, so sometimes it's, and other times it's, okay? The next part is going to be just the D and G string open, and then an A, right? But you wanna get that, and then cut it off. It's real clean, right? So you got, of course I can't play it right when I try to do it slow. There it is. Okay, so you got, or. Now the next part, you're sliding into a C chord. You like basically hit the 3rd and then the back side of the chord, right? So that's gonna be 5 to 7 on the A, and then you're gonna hit the D and G 5th fret. And then an open A string, but muted. Now you come down to the 7th fret and the 8th fret of the G and the B strings, and then flatten out, right? With some vibrato, so you got, and then always a slide down, right? So, okay, so the next part, there's a couple different versions of it. One is basically like just kind of 5th chords, and the other one, towards right before the solo, adds some more notes to the chords. But the first one's basically just, okay, so all you're doing there is basically hitting an E power chord, 7th fret, 9th fret, A and D, up and down. So it's down, up, down, and then you, right? You. Scoot this out to the 10th fret. You. That next part is a pick slide, followed by a normal slide. Okay, so a pick slide, all you're doing is you're taking like the side of your pick right here, and the string has a wind to it. So all you're doing is you're basically sliding down the wind of the string, and it gives you that killer. He does it all the time. You're gonna hear it now that if you didn't notice that before, you're gonna hear it everywhere in his playing. Like every song has at least one pick slide in it, right? And he does the pick slide with a finger slide together all the time, okay? So. Same thing again. Over and over and over again. Now the third time, right before the solo, he adds an extra string to the chords, right? And he adds a different picking pattern, okay? Actually, there's a few different picking patterns. So the first one is straight, but now you're gonna add that higher octave note. I think he actually goes down to the third on this particular chord. Okay, so go all the way down from the middle four strings, so A to B. Now you're gonna add the G string. Okay, and then you're gonna add a gallop instead of straight. It's gonna be. Okay, so that's. Now the next one goes out another fret and has a different pattern. So it goes down, down, up, down, up. And then the last one, all the way to the 12th fret, same middle strings. Now, this next part is typically just two open A's, but I think on this first one, it's an open A and an A chord. Okay, and then really quickly go up to the A minor position 1 spot, which is this. This part's super cool, right? So you got. Okay, so open A, chord, and then right up to the G and B 5th fret and pull it off to open strings. And then, right? And then the next one is, and then pull off. And you give that, once you pull off from 7 to 5, same strings, you get that a little love. So. And then you go to the A note on the D string, which is the 7th fret, give it a little love. And then it goes. So it's a up, ba-dum, ba-dum. And you'll hear that nuance when you only have the isolated track. It's hard to hear in the actual track. So some of the nuanced notes that make it even cooler, you're only gonna hear if you check out the isolated track. It's on YouTube. So there's like 15 Van Halen songs where it's only guitar and it's insane. It's like, my God, he's even better. So anyways. And then you cut off the volume. And then you go back to that 5th fret and kind of drag the notes up a little bit as you roll up the volume on your guitar. So. Now, after you come the second time in, then it just goes. And it keeps that same pattern, right? So. Now on this last time, There's a technique that Eddie does with this hand, and I don't know what you call it. It's tremolo picking, but I don't know what you call his technique. There's only a few guys that do it like this, and it's kind of trippy. You got to think of your wrist, you kind of bend it, and you think of it as a pivot point, and you're unlocking a key, right? And it's just doing that really quickly. It's like if you were to just take your arm and see if I can get it. Just shake your arm like this, okay? And so it's basically going up and down and gives you a... It's tremolo picking, and that's the way he does it. Now, some people can go and use their whole arm. Some people have that really good, precise thing where you're just barely moving and you can really use your wrist. There's all different ways to pick it. I just kind of go old school Eddie way. And the cool thing about doing that too is you can use these other, since you're only on one string, you can use your other fingers to make sure it's clean. I'm draping these fingers over all the other strings because, I mean, I try to keep this precise, but let's be honest, it's really not like a super precise, you know, technique. He has it down flawlessly. It's incredible how good he is at it. But in keeping it always going, it's a trip to get used to keeping it going. So anyways, you're basically coming in with a half step pinch harmonic on the 7th fret with a pull off to the 5th fret. Now, if you don't know how to do that, a pinch harmonic is you take your pick, this part of your pick right here, and choke way up on your pick and get the thumb and the pick to hit the string at the same time. Now on this, if you have a Strat, I'm basically hitting this harmonic right at the back side of what would be that middle pickup. And if you move around on the string, you can get different harmonics. He also is just incredible at getting pinch harmonics. It's that like, yeah, you're gonna always hear him do that, but really good at pinch harmonics. Happens all the time, even like a very Gibbons-esque, but Van Halen-esque too. Gain does help. So if you're like, I can't get it, crank the gain up a little bit. Now, not too much gain. Like the first albums had more gain, but he doesn't play with as much gain as you think. He's more got that back end power amp tube distortion, which isn't necessarily gain, it's just sustain. So not all of us can turn a 100-watt Marshall on 10, but that helps, right? Okay, so going up is going from 7 to 9 to 12. And then he slides up, right? So it's... and goes to a 2-step bend. I just thought it was 1, but it's 2. And then does a little vibrato. Okay, I don't know how many times that is, but that's what it sounds like slower. Okay, now the next part is in B minor pentatonic, or that spot. A couple of things are gonna happen. There's open strings, which is gonna be super weird if you've never done this. Another person that does this really good is Brad Paisley. They just throw in these random open strings and it gives it such a cool, like, what in the hell is happening vibe, but super cool. The other thing, so in addition to open strings like the lick that's like, what you're gonna hear in a second, he also does a, which is outside of this pentatonic shape, right? But Van Halen does that all the time. He comes right outside and he'll do licks like, right? Like an I'm the One. He does it in, I think in Jump. Very familiar pattern in a lot of his solos. So it's the pentatonic shape, but especially on these middle 4 strings, he goes down 1 note. So it's like a composite scale, I guess they call it. So that's gonna be something you're gonna see in just a second. So that's kind of where it's all coming from. Okay, so After you get that, you're gonna go. Okay, so it's a bend on the 10th fret, immediately followed by the 7th fret, and then the second one, you're gonna add some vibrato, so and then goes. The timing, I'm not gonna do it justice. It's really trippy. So when you slow it down, he like pushes and pulls these notes in such a weird, cool way. It happens fast, but when you slow it down and try to play it, you're like, whoa, that's weird. It doesn't sound like it's like, right? So it's, and then, so the next part is, and then, so all together. Now this next lick is super weird. It goes. It's super trippy, but it's an open B string, and then you're gonna go 6, 7, 6. And that's the timing. Okay? Now you're gonna go to the 9th fret, and then back to the 6th fret. I do hybrid picking. Okay, you kind of want to mute that. And then this next part is really rushed. So it's trust me, listen to it slowly. Isolated track, the timing's really weird, right? So that's, and then you go 9, 7, 6, D string, back to the G string 6. And then you're gonna pick, so that's gonna be D, 7, A, 9, and then D6, half step bend. So I hybrid pick it. And then this one, I just hammer the note. I tried and tried and tried to pick it, and it's just really weird for me. You're also gonna notice Eddie does do that a lot. He'll go to the next lower string and not pick it. He'll just use his finger to hammer on the note. If you attack the note quickly, not slowly, not tight, but quickly, you'll get almost like a pick attack note. He does it in Hot for Teacher, that you know, when he does the whatever it is, or whatever that one is. He's going right, whatever that lick is. He's going to the next string using his pinky to hammer on the note on the string lower without picking it, okay? So you're gonna see that all the time, and it really happens here, I think, too. And then, all right? That. I'm just hammering that. And then I pick this one. Now the next one, I think he just kind of, but it happens so quick, you know, like he's not hitting a note. He's just like, okay, so. Now the next thing is gonna be a bend on that 10th fret. And then it goes. Okay, and this starts into super trippy. Think I got this right. It's just so many weird open string notes and stuff happening that I'm like, I don't, it just, when you listen to it a million times slowly, you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna fall off the planet. So I think I got this right. The first part goes. Okay, so that's gonna be 7, 7, 10, pull off, open, and then 10 fret G. Okay, and then it goes, and then open E. Really weird. So it's happens 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it goes. Now this happens super fast, but it does sound like it goes. So really quickly, and you'll hear it when you slow it down to like 30%. And then, okay. The next part is, it's just like a half step bend, right? So that whole part. Okay, now you got, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the bottom 2 strings, the B and the E, and then I'm gonna, so that's the 10th fret, I'm gonna hammer on the 11th fret, B, and then go up to the G and go. Okay? And then, okay, so. Now that's just gonna be basically a G arpeggio. Okay, and then you bend up the, what was that? 18th fret twice. Okay, and this comes to this cool part. So this is gonna be on the 8th fret, G, so it's 10 to 8, and then go 10, G, and then hit 8, E, and then, right, so you got, right? Next part, just shift that up 2 frets. That's the pattern. Okay, so you got. And then down to the 1st and 3rd fret. All right, so it's. And then slide up, so. So. Right. Yeah, there it is. And then take that finger and drag it like you're going up to the 12th fret, and this is where he hits those harmonics, right? So you got. And then he goes 12th fret, so G, B, E. 7th fret, you're gonna go G, E, B, and then 5th fret, right, is gonna be G, B, E, so. And I like to hit that one on upstroke to get ready for this one. and then 2. Right? So the whole thing. Okay, then it basically goes back into that. And then it does that like 3 times, something like that, 3 times. And then it comes in and goes and does this super cool thing where you're basically gonna take the D or the A string, take 3 fingers. And I'm basically hammering. But you're not gonna hear the notes because you're gonna take your palm and you're gonna put it on the strings really lightly. And then you're gonna move it forward really lightly. You have to do this super lightly because you're trying to get harmonic. So you wanna start like that. Now as you move down, you're gonna get different harmonics. It's such a cool, I remember when I saw this when I was a kid, it was like Live Without a Net, and I saw him do that and I was like, what is that? Okay, so. Okay, does the exact same thing, right? The only difference is at the end, it goes. Okay, so it's, and then one of those cool D chords with the A in the bass. Well, that's that cruise, and then you go down and do a C like that, and then to an A. You're out, right? So. You're done. Okay, so that solo, I did my best to teach it. It's super freaking weird. Lots of open strings. I don't know, did I ever go over this? Is pull-offs. 10, 7, B, 10th fret G, high E. And that's how you get into it. Super weird, super awesome, right? That's what makes Eddie amazing. We're gonna do a bunch of different Van Halen stuff. I've been like diving back and I'm almost all the way through Dance the Night Away too, which is super cool. No solo, but the rhythm is just killer. Best rhythm, rock and roll rhythm playing ever. Coolest parts, like, whoa dude, how did you even put that together? So we're gonna do a deep dive into Van Halen, not only for the lead stuff, but the rhythm stuff, because it's so freaking good. All right, thank you so much for joining me. Again, all the free videos are brought by your support at brettpapa.com, where I have courses that are super simple, super basic concepts, but will really change the way you think of the fretboard and open up your whole playing world. We go over feel, caged, how to play over chord progressions, rhythm stuff. The membership has every one of my courses, plus Tim Pierce's and Corey Congilio's in there. More to come as well. So there's like 1,000 videos in there. So check that out. Super affordable price for what you get. And then also I get a little bit of help with the Sweetwater page down below, but it's really honestly where you can get all of my gear with the exception of a couple things on one page. All my stuff's there. The only other things that aren't listed are the Divided by 13 amps and the Lazy J amp and the guitars like the Sen and the Tuttle. And those are all listed in the links below. I make nothing off of those. Those are just people I love and want to support. So check those out as well. And again, it's worth every cent. I'm thinking about buying another one so I can have one tuned in standard too and maybe paint it a different color, but they're so freaking awesome. You guys are amazing. If you have a song suggestion, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to start teaching a bunch more songs. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the continued support. We'll catch you next time.